of the Western Conference Finals looked like a heavyweight chess match. An hour later, it resembled checkmate with thunderous punctuation. Oklahoma City's baby-faced roster had just slapped a 26-point exclamation mark on Minnesota's best season in decades, and the shockwaves traveled faster than a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander first step. How did a series hyped as a toss-up flip so violently on what hidden fissures were already widening beneath the hardwood? Tonight, we peel back every layer, from the whispered knee tweak that almost derailed Anthony Edwards to the adjustment that turned a Chet Holmgren from lanky rookie to paint-patrolling nightmare. Stick around, because the most explosive moment of this drama hasn't happened yet. But to understand the implosion, we have to rewind to the hush before tip-off. The day opened with contradictions. Timberwolves coach Chris Finch paced the morning walk through preaching one commandment: starve the Thunder in transition or get devoured. Across the hallway, Mark Daigneault scribbled the inverse on OKC's whiteboard. Live in the paint with force, no settling. Two visions, mutually exclusive, on a collision course. Around them swirled off-court noise loud enough to rattle a veteran locker room, let alone two playoff neophytes, Julius Randle's quiet contract year. League insiders say his next deal could eclipse $200 million, a figure Timberwolves ownership privately calls sobering. Randle dismissed the chatter with a shrug, yet every camera caught him glancing at his phone minutes before warm-ups, as if checking more than the group chat. Alex Caruso's energy meter, social clips from the Denver series, showed him icing both knees at halftime. Fans wondered whether the tireless guard finally looked tired. Caruso answered with 3 words at shoot-around: "See you tonight." Anthony Edwards' mysterious thigh bruise. The team listed it as precautionary, but reporters noted extra padding under his compression tights and a slight hitch usually as he jogged through layup lines. The meme that wouldn't die: Shai the free throw merchant. After averaging double-digit trips to the stripe against Denver, critics claimed SGA's superstardom came gift-wrapped by whistles. Some Wolves assistants were caught muttering the phrase during film study. SGA allegedly saw the clip and laughed. All of it brewed beneath the surface while 18,000 fans drummed thundersticks in anticipation. They didn't know the first quarter would hide a Trojan horse. From the opening tip, the Wolves executed Finch's script to Broadway perfection. They unveiled a 3-man weave that dragged Chet Holmgren through pin downs like a greyhound chasing paper rabbits. Jaden McDaniels splashed the game's first jumper. Finch reran the exact action on the next possession, and McDaniels splashed again. Moments later, Julius Randle, revved by contract rumors, drilled back-to-back threes, so clean the net barely blinked. Minnesota led 11-3. Coach Daigneault burned a timeout, and social media crowed, "Statement made." Yet buried inside those highlights lay OKC's life raft: turnovers. The Wolves lost the ball 7 times in the opening 12 minutes, 3 via risky post entries to Rudy Gobert, 2 on lazy swing passes. The Thunder converted 13 of their 21st quarter points directly off mistakes, none louder than Cason Wallace's alley-oop to Isaiah Hartenstein that turned Gobert's fumble into a roar that cracked the decibel meter. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looked almost subdued. 2 points, 1 assist, noticeable eye roll at a no call. But every time McDaniels celebrated a jumper, SGA jogged quietly to the other end, gathering data. If Minnesota's hot start was smoke, SGA was wind, biding his time to turn it into something far more dangerous. The breeze picked up in the second. Daigneault returned from the break with a clear order, blitzed the paint before Gobert's skyscraper wingspan could unfurl. The Thunder initiated get actions, give-and-go plays designed to force Rudy into drop coverage, then punished the gap. Holmgren, grinning like a kid finding cheat codes, slipped short rolls and pinged skip passes to corners Minnesota forgot existed. Wallace bullied a 2-on-1 against Gobert and fed Hartenstein for a punch-through dunk that rattled the stanchion. Finch's answer was classic: stretch OKC's young legs with a swing ball movement. When Shai helped on Edwards, Mike Conley fired to gilgeous-alexander Walker, who drilled an open three and howled at the sideline. Scoreboard rhythm. Wolves by 6, Thunder by 2, Wolves by 4. It felt like a Wall Street ticker, but subtle stress fractures emerged. Caruso, labeled gassed, flew baseline to corner chasing shooters, then erased the Randall post-up by drawing a charge. The crowd roared affection, disguised as relief. Maybe he isn't running on fumes after all. Randall responded by calling his own number and missing his first jumper since the opening flurry. He scowled at the rim. Halftime numbers read, Wolves 48, Thunder 44. Finch allowed himself a smile, walking into the tunnel, perhaps too soon, because Daigneault hadn't used his biggest lever yet. Inside OKC's locker room, Daigneault skipped the dry erase markers. He spoke directly to Jalen J-Dub Williams. You run the show, let Shea hunt. The tweak was surgical. Instead of SGA dribbling into Minnesota's tall traps, J-Dub initiated half-court sets, freeing Shea to roam like a predator in tall grass. First possession, J-Dub crosses midcourt, flips the ball to Holmgren at the nail, and darts baseline. McDaniel stays glued to Shea on the weak side, leaving Gobert isolated on Holmgren's 7-foot frame. 2 dribbles, baby hook, bucket. Second possession, same look. But Holmgren delivers a backdoor dime to Dort, lurking behind a ball-watching defense. Finch adjusted too late. By the time he sent help, Holmgren kicked to Wallace, wide open for now the third time, top of the arc. Splash. Thunder by 1. The crowd sensed a tide shift. Edwards sensed something else entirely, his thigh bruise screaming as he planted to change direction. Cameras caught him grimacing, then punching the air after missing a pull-up. Social media seized on the replay. Ant's hobbling. He waved the bench off, but the algorithm never forgets. While Twitter dissected gaits and grimaces, Shea wrote a different thread in real time. The NBA is a league of runs. Some feel like gusts, others like rock slides. This one began with a Shea at the stripe, but it ended under a mountain of points Minnesota never saw coming. SGA's first free throw trip in the half came on an and-one leaner that coaxed a technical from a seething Edwards. The second arrived 30 seconds later when McDaniels body checked him on a transition euro. Suddenly, the free throw merchant chant boomeranged. Every make felt like interest on disrespect. Off the whistle, the Thunder pressed full court, suffocating Conley and forcing a hurried pass that J-Dub intercepted. The first of 4 Minnesota turnovers in a 92-second window. OKC turned each into layups or threes. A 6-0 burst swelled to 12-1, then 18-3. Finch tried timeouts. Daigneault countered by unleashing Kenrick Williams, whose lone goal seemed to be erasing oxygen from anyone dribbling in a gray uniform. Score swing. Wolves +4 transformed into Thunder +10 by quarter's end. A 32-18 onslaught, powered by 20-second half points from SGA and a highlight reel chasedown block by Holmgren that became the top trending clip before fans reached concessions. But the real chokehold, the one Minnesota felt in its lungs, arrived next, fourth quarter. Lights dimmed for hype, but for Wolves fans, it felt like nightfall. Caruso opened the frame, ripping Reed at the arc, sprinting the other way, and burying a catch-and-shoot 3 at the top of the key. Holmgren, followed by volleyball spiking, a DiVincenzo reverse, then sprinting to finish a baseline lob from Wallace. 2 possessions, 5 points, 1 block, and 15 feet of a cumulative wingspan that made the rim look padlocked. Minnesota's offense seized. Randall's heat check turned ice cold, 1 for 6 after halftime, as J-Dub and Kenrick took turns bodying him off the block. Edwards, legs clearly protesting, settled for stepbacks that clanged. Gobert tried carving space inside, but found Holmgren's elbow invading every angle of release. Numbers tell the cruelty. Wolves bench combined to shoot 5 for 28. From deep, 7 for 36 overall. Thunder interior group recorded 4 rejections and altered it a half dozen more. Finch briefly flashed a 2-3 zone. Shea punished it with surgical mid-range pull-ups, the kind that freeze time, then press fast forward on scoreboard misery. With 3:18 left, Caruso drilled a backbreaking triple, his fourth, stretching the gap to 18. The Target Center hush that started as shock matured into resignation. Yet, even in defeat, new storylines sprouted like cracks in ice. Post-game podiums doubled as confessionals. Randall's contract bombshell. Asked whether playoff payback strengthened his desire to stay, he replied, "I'm going to make the best business decision for my family." 10 words, 48 characters, an entire fan base holding its breath. Finch's whistle critique. While careful to dodge league fines, he noted a significant difference in free throw volume and vowed to review the tape. Translation heard across Reddit, he's furious. Caruso's clapback. When a reporter suggested fatigue disappeared, he laughed. "I'll rest in July or August." Cue meme factories, Edwards' health watch. Cameras caught him limping down the tunnel. Team officials insisted he was available for all post-game treatment. Phrasing sharp-eared listeners translated as code for something hurts, but we're not saying what. Twitter doctors posted freeze frames diagnosing everything from quad contusion to alien abduction. Meanwhile, in a corner of OKC's locker room, Chet Holmgren basked in teammates' backslaps. Reporters asked about punishing Rudy at the rim. Holmgren grinned. "Same plan next game. Make him deal with us." And that tees up the question rattling across every bar, board, and burner account. 70 points to 40 after halftime. 26-point margin. One raucous statement. Yet history warns. Game 1 blowouts can morph into Game 2 sucker punches. So here are the 3 pressure points that will decide whether this was a lightning strike or the birth of a dynasty. Transition, chess. If Finch can't cork the turnover geyser, no halftime lead is safe. Does he bench DiVincenzo for extra ball handling? Does he risk small ball 5 outs to drag Holmgren away from the rim? Edwards' engine. Was that a grimace simple bruise tightness or a warning light on Minnesota's Ferrari? A compromised ant tilts the series from uphill to cliff face. Randall's resolve. Contract clouds can either galvanize or suffocate. His second half fade fed Oklahoma runs. A bounce back reclaims the Cuss home court narrative. 1 game down, at least 3 to go, and neither team has shown its final hand. If you think this blowout settled anything, buckle up, because the counterpunch is already winding back. And when it lands, the series we thought was over might only just be beginning. Subscribe for the Game 2 autopsy, because the next twist will blow more than a 26-point lead.